Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the CRP. And I am your host, Matthias, as is the usual. And joining me is Nat and Dalit. Hello, gents.
G'day, everyone.
Good to see you guys.
We're going to jump right into it this episode, y'all. There's this trend in gaming recently. It's been going for, I want to say, the better part of a decade now. That might be a little much.
What, remakes and reboots?
No, we already did that, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think. I might be going crazy. I had an existential crisis last episode. The the trend of like companies and so many games being live service games. Like just the number of live service games is steadily increasing. Like it feels like where we used to get one, maybe every other year, it then was every year, and now we're getting like 6 to 7 a year minimal. And that's just games, like regular games, not even considering the broader market of like gacha games too, which are also live service. So,
right,
that's what we're talking about. We're talking about live service games, and quite frankly, that they're just overbearing. There's so many. There's so much.
They really are. But before we do that, do you want to break down what you mean by live service, just so we have a decent jumping off point?
Well, okay, yes, I will. To clarify, you can probably describe live service in a few different ways. I'm gonna do my best, and as you listeners know, and I know these two know, I can be really good at describing things, or I can be really poor. I'm gonna hope I do really good this time for you all. So, a live service game is any kind of game that is it comes out and then it's going to continually get updates and content added to it. It's going to get new things, and the game is constantly in the state of not production, but like things are constantly coming to it, constantly getting further development. And that's not to say like you get Skyrim comes out and then Dawnguard comes out. No, that's a DLC. That's something that's made extra, and then you can buy, and that is an add-on to the game. A live service is the game is out, and then new stuff is just constantly being added for free, or new things are coming out to do for free. It's a game that, on top of this constant state of updates and new content and things like that, it's also gives you things to do, whether it be daily or weekly or in some cases even monthly, to encourage you to consistently come back and play continually.
Yeah.
Did I describe that well first? I need feedback from you guys. Help me out here.
I think that's
yeah, that's
okay. All right, my co-host gave the clear. I hope you listeners also thought so. So for a few examples, a live service game would be, any of your MMOs, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14,
correct.
Blade and Soul, to name a random third one.
Wasn't expecting
that is a random one. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
I don't know where I pulled that one from. That's just
say Elder Scrolls Online.
ESO would have been. That's actually the one that's sitting on my desktop next to the other two, so that would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Then it can also include games like, let's see, Diablo would be another game like that. Games of that nature. Let's see. All of your, for the most part, any gacha-based game, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, Grand Blue Fantasy, Counterside.
True.
Like
Punishing
any of those.
Grey Raven.
Yeah, Punishing Grey Raven. Any of those could be considered live service. If anything, those are the premier live service because they are the most live service in a way.
I'm surprised you have not said Apex Legends yet. I was literally waiting for it.
That was the next area I was going. You get games like Apex Legends, as well as like the finals. Yeah, I think Call of Duty Warzone you could consider a live service as well.
Oh yeah.
So those would be examples of a variety of genres. Yeah, Warframe is another good one. And I know that's one that me and Matt are familiar with.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that there's tons of examples, and just based off of those examples, I'm sure you have all at home thought of a live service game. You probably have played or currently play a live service game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to bring the conversation in and to get my friends here involved a little bit more, uh, what are y'all's initial opinions? Just going off the bat, what are your feelings towards live service games?
Dollett, go first.
Okay. Um, because of the saturation in the market, it's really hard for me to have like a favorable opinion on live service games. Always online, constant stream of content, so easy to fall behind in, so much overwhelming things to do, and worst of all, for me, pretty consistently poorly monetized.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and of the ones you've mentioned, I take particular umbrage with the free to play model, which is in general fine on paper and usually not great when it plays out.
Yeah.
I make the distinction because I think WoW and Final Fantasy and Elder Scrolls Online, I think that's fine. They have a higher degree of quality on the whole, and
Mm-hmm.
the stuff they give you, whilst not daily, and is of a fairly regular time frame, and I think of also high quality. I tend to split this into two categories, and it's actually not free to play and pay to play so much as gotcha versus standard. Because you have games like Fortnite, like Apex, Destiny, League, Overwatch, Diablo, all of these games, the aforementioned WoW and Final Fantasy. And then you have the mobile titles, specifically the gotcha titles, which I think vary way more in quality.
For sure, because when you come to gotcha titles, at current time, there's only really one place that puts out anything that could be considered AAA in that regard.
Yes, 100%, and it's Mihoyo.
Yeah,
Like they do stand at the top of the pack, unequivocally.
and that's just
Yeah.
in terms of the quality of the game they put out. In terms of like company things, there's better companies, but
Sure,
I
absolutely.
digress on that.
I have a preference of games that I end up having to pay my way into, which isn't to say gotcha. I don't mean games that I can spend money on. I mean games that have a price tag for entry, because they have to hold up to a higher standard. Otherwise, I get to ask for my money back. Straight up. It's why I do play 14. Played 14. I played Diablo, but that's mostly because someone else bought it.
That's because I bullied you into it.
Also because you actually bullied me into it. It was
Like
enjoyable.
it was very fun, and but it's still the highlight of Diablo 4 to me is I literally bullied you into it.
Oh.
Like you were about to buy it, but then it was just bought for you and just made it easier. So I'm
That's actually true.
that's the highlight of Diablo 4 for me. And it will always be the highlight of Diablo 4 for me.
Gotchas have a hard time maintaining my interest. I like Star Rail. I like Genshin, I guess. But I like Star Rail, and that's probably my favorite gotcha going. Just because it's a turn-based, it's a turn-based game with high production value.
Right.
But I find most of those games are just more interesting to learn about the characters and not actually interface with the game itself. I think the games are the weakest aspect, oftentimes. Whereas in something like Final Fantasy or WoW, I'd say that like actually playing the game has a whole lot of weight. Like it feels good to do. It's not like a slog. I'm not signing in every day so that I don't miss my bonuses. I'm signing in every day because I want to progress in something. And I'm sure there are people that feel that way about Genshin, about Counterside, about Arknights, about so on and so forth. I don't get that. And if for whatever reason I'm given any excuse to not play those games, if they get uninstalled, if I wipe my hard drive, if I take a vacation, I find it so easy just to not return to that.
Okay, fair enough.
It's less true with games like WoW and 14, not because I paid to get them, but because they have a, subscription.
Yeah,
But also
exactly
because I
right.
just feel better about them. Funny enough, maybe it has something more to do with the sub, because I played Overwatch for a long time until I just gave up on it. Though that's
Right.
mostly because I just can't get behind Blizzard's ideas on what they want to do with that game. It is gross.
Oh, with any game, let's be real.
Blizzard
Yeah,
doesn't have a great track record at the moment. They've
No.
they've got a lot of missing.
true. I played Diablo 4 at launch. I played through it. I stopped playing, not even for a lot of the reasons that a lot of the other people stopped playing. It just didn't feel great for me at the time. I'm waiting for some more content to get in there. I imagine it'll feel better. I didn't love Diablo 3 when I first played it, and then I went back to it a while later after a bunch of content updates and Reaper of Souls, and I really like that game.
Okay.
Diablo is an interesting one to bring up for the simple fact and comparing 4 to 3, because 4 is, from what we understand about it, is going to be going even more so the route of live service than past Diablo titles, because
Yes, absolutely.
it's kind of getting the MMO treatment slapped onto it.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's certainly what it feels like by all accounts. I don't know that I hate it. Because MMOs are currently where I trust this service style the most. Maybe that's good. I couldn't tell you though.
I think, yeah, MMOs probably, for general audience, general purpose, kind of reign over the live service sphere, because it's one of, I don't think it is the oldest, but it's one of the oldest forms of live service games out there.
Yeah,
Um,
Right.
and I think that's why it's maybe a more approachable version of it, one people are generally okay with or whatever.
yeah, I'd say that. I'd say I'm okay
Yeah.
with it. Like I do think it's more approachable. I think the others tend to feel at points predatory, which isn't always the case, right? Path of
Right.
Exile is a great example since we're talking about Diablo. Path of
Yeah.
Exile is absolutely free to start. It absolutely gets updated on the regular. It's pretty quality, especially for where it started and where it ended up. It's got a great backlog of stuff.
Yep.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe gets a bit predatory in that it's free to start.
Bots.
Everything that I have heard is that you
Mm.
will pay a full price game's worth of microtransactions to have an account that's worth anything.
Yep.
Which, frankly,
Oh yeah.
for what people say about the game, feels fair. It just feels like you're paying the price of the game after the fact. But
Yeah.
at the same
Yeah.
time, when you
Yeah.
advertise as free to play, I don't know.
Yeah. Because if you don't get those stashes in the
Yeah, this is it.
bank, the
Exactly.
bank box, I forgot what it's called because I played it before. And like it feels fucking horrible just having free to play bank, and
Yeah.
especially when you're end game, it's like, ooh, like
It
yeah,
is very much a weird thing because, that's not the only game that's done it. There are other games that have done it and do it more notoriously in like worse ways, right?
yeah,
Sure, absolutely. Like, this was my best possible outcome for this somewhat predatory practice.
Right.
yeah,
But it's like they say it's free to play. And then just to get some of the basic conveniences in the game, you end up paying, even if it is only one time, the price of what you would be paying for a full game.
Yeah,
So it's just one of those things like, why don't you just charge for the game, and then they just get that anyways. But I mean, I also understand the mindset from their perspective of, well, because it's free, you're more inclined to try it, and then maybe
just
you'll
so.
like it. And so,
I
like,
never
I
would have
get,
touched PoE if I had to pay for it.
yeah, like I get both sides of it. It's just, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of when people do that, because for me personally, I don't mind spending money on a game and then not liking the game, because that's just kind of the gamble you take for the most
Yeah.
part, because for a long time,
Right.
like demos are a fairly new-ish thing coming out with the what was it? I think 360 PS3 era when demos started becoming more regular. Um,
Wait, whoa, 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 whoa.
Well,
No, 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 no.
you're forgetting about like PS1 demo disc and all
Yeah,
that?
the PS1 era was
okay, like
absolutely a golden
demo discs were never a thing for me growing up.
era. Okay.
You had nowhere to get those around here, as far as I could tell, and I've never known anybody that's from my town who actively had them or used them, or they just weren't a thing. So,
Right.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
and I don't think I'm wrong in saying that I'm not the only one. There's probably a lot of smaller towns and places like that where demo discs weren't as readily available in that era. Yes, they were there, but I don't think they were as readily available as when you get to the 360 PS3 era when they were downloadable.
Sure.
Right.
Because that just comes back to the internet making things more accessible for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, you know, demos weren't always a thing, and even when they were, you know, it wasn't common knowledge or common thought process to think, oh, is there a demo? Let me go try it first or whatever. So you would buy a game at full price, and you may or may not like it, and that was just the gamble you took. And I'm okay with that because, you know, if they made the game look interesting or it looked interesting, I'll spend the money. I like the game. Cool, I like the game. If I don't like the game, that's fine. I took that chance. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, theoretically speaking, you make that gamble anytime you try a restaurant, right? You go somewhere
Yeah.
to eat for the first time, you're like, I may or may not like this food. Time to spend, you know, if it's a nice restaurant, you know, 20, $30 on a meal, see if I like it. And, you know, so I don't know. I would rather that in that regard to the get it for free and then find out, oh, I like this, but now I have to pay to get these things that are convenience, and I just wish I had from Go.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Because now, like, because then it becomes a problem of, oh, I like this game, I want to play it, but because I don't have these quality things, it slows my progression, slows what I'm trying to do, so I can't play it until I get the money to get it, you know, or I have the expendable money to get it. Whereas if you buy it straight up, it's okay. Well, I have the expendable money to get it. Let me get it and see if I like it. Right? You don't have to worry about
Well,
enjoying it first and then
funny you
having the
bring
problem
that
of getting.
up. Ain't that a problem that Diablo's been having? You paid the money and you still don't have the things you need.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've heard this issue. What are you
Oh
referring
yeah,
exactly?
like there's just not enough space. There's more space.
Oh,
And whilst
like
they are going to
yeah.
give some, they're going to sell more.
Oh, I didn't hear they were going to sell more. That's the first time I've heard that.
Okay. I might be wrong about that then. That's what I heard. By which time I'd kind of bounced off. I'd beaten the game. I didn't get to level 100. I didn't care about getting to level 100. And I was just waiting on the second season, which has come and gone, and I still haven't gone back yet. So.
I stopped following the news for Diablo 4. That's a fairly recent thing for me, but I never saw them say anything about making you buy extra inventory space. I definitely heard there's not enough inventory space.
Yeah.
That's just not surprising in the slightest.
Before we
Honest.
get too far ahead, you asked both of us about our thoughts on
It's true.
the live service stuff, but only I answered. Nat, do you want to give your feelings on the genre as a whole?
I pretty much in agreement with Dollard here. It's just one of those things. Okay, so it's not just the gamble of whether or not you like a game that has live service aspects to it. It's also liking the game and that game ending and all your progress is just gone.
Oh, yes, there's
a.k.a.
this
Opera
aspect
Omnia.
there.
Yep.
I hadn't even considered.
Yep.
So
Now-
the EOS aspect of it is something that you're not fond of.
Yeah, like I understand it because it's really weird. Like obviously nothing lasts forever and all that shit, right? But like there's a huge difference between buying Final Fantasy VII on the PS1. You have the entire game, and then you go and play. You download Apex Legends, and then in 3 years' times, Apex Legends is just gone. It's just done, and you can't. And there's like no way of playing it anymore.
So, because in many ways I agree with you. In all the
Right.
ways that count, I think we're of the same mind.
Yeah.
But how long do you own a game before you think it's okay for that game to go away? Or is there not an end date?
No, I think between you want like a good solid run. So I want to say like between like 10 to 15 years, but people may say that's like too little. But like I don't know, like
Some people might say that's too long, even.
do you think
Some
so?
people, exactly. This is why I'm asking the question. And does that time begin at when the game is launched,
Yeah.
or from its last update?
From launch.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So from literally 1.0 to let's just say hypothetically just like 11.3. Like I'm fine with that.
So I want to point out that EOS can be handled one of two ways.
Mhm.
The way you're
No
talking
money.
about is definitely the way that a lot of people dread, and it is the way a lot of gotcha games end up going. It's
Right,
when
it's
EOS
just
hits
gone.
when the game's over. It's just gone. That's it.
Yep.
Peace out.
All
Bye.
your money you've sunk in, all the characters you've like are just gone. Well, obviously they're not gone from the internet, but they're gone from like being playable, which is
Right.
vastly different than having fucking artwork of them on the internet.
Yeah, suddenly
Right.
you have a bricked application, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you have the other way, which Diablo is the example I can think of right off the top of my head. EOS hits Diablo because Diablo 5 or Diablo 6 or whatever comes out. You can
Right.
still boot up Diablo 4 and play it, and you'll still have everything because
Yeah.
it's still a game in and of
Yes.
itself.
Yeah.
So, and there are other games like that. I'm drawing a blank on another one off the top of my head. But yeah, that's the two ways you can handle EOS. One is very clearly superior to the other, and I don't think I need to specify. But yeah, you do have that fear, right? And that's an understandable and very real fear, especially for like me and you coming off of Cydia, just having had this happen to us.
Yeah.
Where if once the game's hits the EOS, it's over, it's gone. We
Mhm.
can't do anything with it anymore. So
Yeah.
I mean, like it's not even just Opera Omnia. Like there has been times where I'm like, I really want to play fucking Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and I just cannot do that anymore. The only way I can experience it is through YouTube, and that's not what I want.
I should imagine this is also the case for MMOs. I don't imagine when
Yes,
MMOs
absolutely.
run dry, they leave those servers up because that's
Oh god,
expensive.
yeah, that's a money drainer right there.
So that's a lot of time and money of your
Mhm.
life that's just gone. But it seems that people are
And
okay on the whole with MMOs going poof. But the concept of gotcha, not even really Opera Omni in this case. People are mad there for a bunch of various other reasons, including being utterly blindsided by it.
right,
But the idea that one day when you're finished, one day when the game's finished, it's just gone. I also, as you can imagine, would much prefer these games to live on somehow, whether it be an
oh
offline
yeah, no, I agree.
version or a standalone version, something that I can download and I can
Yep.
just have. It doesn't need updates, doesn't need to be whatever. Just I bought into it. I feel like maybe I should have something that's mine now. It shouldn't
Yep.
just poof.
Yep. Like I know Yoshi P loves to say, yeah, we've got like at least 10 more plus years in the making of Final Fantasy 14.
Hmm.
But Final Fantasy 14 is going to end of service eventually
I
due
wonder.
to
11 still
various
hasn't.
reasons.
I mean, I wonder about that one with that example particularly because
Yeah,
11 is
like
still going.
11 is
I
still fucking going.
well, like
Game's like 20 years old or something.
well, that's why I said for various reasons, because it could be once Yoshi P's gone, like who knows who takes over, does an
True.
absolute dog shit with the fucking game, nosedives it down to the fucking ground into the crust of the earth, and then Square Enix is like, you know what, this ain't making profit for us. It's gone. Bye bye.
Which is not entirely unrealistic for Square Enix. Let's point out Chocobo Grand Prix, Avengers, and Babylon Fall all failed so spectacularly. I don't think you can play any of those games anymore. Or if you
Nope,
can still
you
play
cannot.
Avengers, it's going away soon.
Like, I understand it. Like, live service games can be good, and they can be really fucking good. Don't get me wrong, but they will eventually have their time ran out,
Yeah,
and that
Yeah.
sucks.
And sometimes, it's one of those things where even if a game still does make money, many years after it stops getting updates and new stuff, it servers can be shut down on it, and
yeah,
then you can't
100%.
play it. And then
Yep.
sometimes you have games like one that is infamous to myself and a mutual friend of ours called White Knight Chronicles, where a part of that game
Oh
was
god.
based around online multiplayer. For some reason, in the single player game main story, there was like an online multiplayer thing you had to do. Well, the servers for that are
Such a
long
weird
since shut.
choice.
Yeah, are long since shut down. And now, if you want to pick up and play this game again for nostalgia purposes, you can't actually really finish the game.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that if you like are super try hard, you can do it, but it is like nigh impossible or something. I don't know if that's true, but it's just like a part of the game was killed, and by doing so, you killed the single player aspect. Now that's a design flaw of intertwining those together like that,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
but I mean it's a good representation of the picture of that end of service because just time, right? Eventually,
Yeah.
you shut it down.
So from a broad standpoint, just to say the words out loud, we're all fine with the concept of a live service game, a game that comes out, gets regularly updated. Granted, you have to be online. Is there any part of this that is that's like debatable, dubious to you?
No, I'm fine with live service games.
Yeah, I
Sure.
mean,
As long as the lifespan isn't literally fucking 2 years.
Sorry,
and then it's
Avengers.
gone.
Sorry, Anthem, frankly.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm fine with live service myself. I have a lot of quips with it that makes me sometimes wish it wasn't a thing or wasn't as common of a thing now.
Mhm.
But I think to answer the question, I am fine with live service. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a yes but.
Okay.
I can't control the industry at all. I have zero sway. So in many regards, I understand live service games. It's fine.
Right.
I do, however, not appreciate their place only being here because it's purely better to monetize. It is more lucrative. It feels a lot like the days of corporate executives saying single player games are dead all over again.
Oh god.
We
Turn-based
found
games
out
are
that
dead.
it's
Single player
exactly
games
same
fucking
thing, right?
dead. Yeah.
We know
Yeah.
that this isn't true. We do, however, also know single player games tend to be less financially. Actually, I don't think tend to be. I think are factually less financially um,
Profitable.
profitable. They're just less profitable overall, not financially profitable. They're less profitable
Mm.
than a long-term 10-year plan game.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
no,
that's
absolutely.
really my issues.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's one of the issues, especially now. There's too many live service games right now.
Yeah,
There's
100%.
like a new
Yeah.
one almost every month. It's ridiculous how many there are, and like a lot of these are AAA to double A, single A, whatever titles coming out because companies are like they make more money. That's what we want. But it's just
Money.
like as the consumer, as the player, it just it doesn't feel good, right?
It
It's
feels
like
shitty. Yeah.
I want to play a single player game. I'm sitting here currently for the last week and a half. I've been streaming a single player RPG.
Yeah, you have.
It's like, and this is a game that as I'm playing it, I know for a fact at this moment I've put in almost 100 hours into this RPG because it's a long game.
It's a
But
long game.
I know for a fact I will one day, whether it be, 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 years from now, I will one day go back and play this game again because it's a good game,
Mhm.
right? And
Right.
I can say that for tons of games I have that I will or have gone back and played again because they're good games and I get tons of play time out of them for the price I paid, and I'm not missing anything. It's all there, etc. and so forth. But then you get to the live service where it's, you either get in for free or you pay for it, get
Yeah.
updates, get stuff, and it just feels less complete in comparison. Like it's very different. It's like there's a big difference between live service and a single player game, and it's just sad the number of or the lack thereof of single player games nowadays because of this. They don't make as much as the live service games. When in reality, I would say for the most part, I prefer the single player games.
Yes.
But it's like everything's like a live service now almost.
So it sounds like
Yeah,
you and I, and Nat from it who's agreeing, have the same issues, and it comes down to ownership because of the ability to EOS
yeah.
and saturation because when everyone is making a forever game, you can really only have
No
one or
one's
two
a
of them.
forever game.
You can only have one or two
Syndrome.
of them. Well, not quite what I was going for, but if you can't really realistically own more than what 2 forever games, 3, like you just don't have the time for it.
Yeah,
So
that's yeah.
I'm gonna build off of that here. Yeah, it comes down to a time investment, and that's my like number one gripe with live service games. As somebody who has played hundreds of gotcha games,
Sure.
and at one point in time played many of them at one time, I would be in a state where I would log in and go through, do my, daily, weekly things for each game back to back, because these are all considered live service.
Right.
They're all getting stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes I even I'd be on my computer doing one, on my phone doing another, on a tablet doing another, maybe on my computer doing
That's
2 or 3 or
madness.
Ooh,
whatever.
we call that addiction.
Yeah.
Well, it's just at a point. Well, I mean, I was also making YouTube videos at a point in time. Thank you.
You're right.
But yes, like I played mini at one point, and yes, there was an addiction element to it, I guess. But it's like I would go through. I didn't really want to play these games, so to speak. I wanted to, get my daily things done because I needed the resources, I needed the gems or whatever.
Mm.
I wanted to play, Final Fantasy VII. I wanted to play, insert RPG or single player game here, whatever.
Sure.
Right.
But I had to get all my daily stuff done.
Yeah.
And then by the time I did all of it, it's like, man, I don't really have much time left in the day. I got, to get up for work tomorrow. I've got to get up and do this or doctor's appointments or whatever. And it's just like, man, that doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And like even here now where I've cut out gotcha games for the majority, and don't play many of those, I'm still having a similar issue because of how many live service games there are. Because it's like I need to, do my dailies or not do my dailies, but need to log in and do some Warframe. Need to log in, do the one like gotcha I majorly play, do my dailies on Genshin. I have missions and stuff I can be doing for Apex. I have weeklies and stuff for Final Fantasy 14. It's like there's so many of them. It's like you don't have the time, but that comes down because so many games are coming out that are live service, and it's like for the time management purpose, even though you really enjoy one, does that mean for you to play a new one you have to give up another game that you really enjoy and want to keep playing?
Oh yeah.
So it's well, yeah, I guess the answer is yes for the most part, right? But it's unfair to it's unfair to the players in a lot of way, because it's like, yeah, player A really likes Warframe, but really wants to try and play First Descendant when it comes out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But like,
And
which
I have to
First
balance
Descendant,
that in Warframe.
and I had to balance that in Warframe, and it's what if person A also wants to play through insert shooter based story game here?
Right.
I can't think of one. I was gonna say Killzone, but they don't make
those anymore.
Yeah, there hasn't been a new Killzone in a while.
That's the Horizon devs now, I think.
Yeah, so okay, insert Horizon here. So that's a very unsatisfying feeling. Like I had that issue, kind of when we were playing Diablo. Like when we were playing it, because I was like, I want to play Diablo. I want to play 14. I want to play. There was a third title there where that was a live service game. I can't remember, but it was just like, how do I make time to do this and still like play these other games? Like that single player RPG series I've been streaming. I want to get through that series, but it's like the time I could be playing this game, I have to do my daily things or whatever in this other game, or
right.
And it comes down to, because I'm probably missing something if I don't do them. And that's another thing to bring into it. Another question to ask is, what's the best way to handle that?
I can answer this, but no one's going to like the answer.
I'm excited to hear it.
So, yeah, because there is a definitive answer to this. It just fucking sucks. So, I work really odd hours. Sometimes I work upwards of like fucking 120 hours a week. It's not true. I work like 40 or 50 tops. Sometimes I work like 2 hours a week, right? So sometimes I have a bunch of time to give to video games. Sometimes I am hard pressed to get anything done.
Right.
The companies have something like that for people like me. I don't partake, but we all know people who do. There is ways to catch up and to buy power. That is how you get through it.
Hell.
You spend money, whether it be gacha, whether it be Warframe, whether it be Diablo, maybe not Diablo. Diablo's been pretty good so far about buying power.
Well, except for Immortal, but
exactly. Immortal's a mobile game that uses mobile game ideas, which this falls under. The pay for
power
and not even necessarily pay for power, because the companies know that that's bad.
Some of them don't care, some of them do, but
some of them don't, and some of them don't care, and they'll continue to sell you the best sword of the week or whatever. Some games understand that's a bad look, so what they do is they let you speed up time that you spend on something, or they'll let you buy resources that let you level up a character. That's buying power, but it's not really, is it? You're not getting a weapon. You're not getting an unfair advantage. You're just now able to take a character that you couldn't level before, and you're just leveling it. Anyone can level a character, right?
Paying for convenience.
Convenience is the word I was looking for. Yes.
Right.
Like, I pulled Farina. Oh man, but I have like no time to do anything. I really want to play Farina, and I don't want to have to wait for like a month before I can sit down and farm out everything. Let me throw in for a couple of the premium currency, and I won't buy anything. I'll just, collect the free resources in the shop. Yeah, and I'll just level her that way. I don't have an unfair advantage. Everyone could do this. All the resources are there. I'm just cutting out the grind. That's
the worst iteration of that is when you get stamina involved in a stamina system, which gotcha.
Refresh for days.
Yeah,
I can only play today. I'm going to drop $100. I'm going to play for a week's worth. Get ahead of everyone.
Yep.
So I said $100. I have no idea how much that would realistically get me, but
I'm not answering. I'll be honest. I don't actually know the answer to that. to defend myself, I know how much money it costs to pity something in Genshin. I don't know how much like you spend for restocks and stuff. I have never done that.
I have a free to play answer, kind of semi follow up to Dullet's answer.
Sure.
Obviously, companies, especially Gacha, do this. I don't think I have not seen a Gacha game that hasn't done this at least once in their life. Um, Double boost, triple boost for events and stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
Getting double, triple drop rates on fucking uh character experience, account
Mhm.
levels, all that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, I've seen that in some MMOs in some way. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
during certain weekends, you get more experience just for playing that weekend or whatever.
Honestly, yeah, this is not exclusive to mobile. Yeah. But I mean, honestly, I don't even think that that's that bad. But if you want something that transcends mobile and goes into AAA, any game with a battle pass, I
Oh, I didn't
guarantee,
even have to bring that up.
yeah, I
Thank you.
guarantee you, I everything in my bank account. If your game has a battle pass, you can buy levels.
Oh yeah.
You can buy levels in the battle pass.
Yeah, you can probably buy the battle pass outright, which it'll be a hefty sum. I am absolutely sure, but I'll bet you
Mhm.
you're able to do it.
Yeah, they it's either like two options. Either it's like 15, well for me $15, you get both the free pass, and then you get the premium pass.
Oh my god, I
The
hadn't even
second
considered.
option,
Right, there's two battle passes because
yeah, and then
oh man,
In some
and then
games, there's
there's
3.
oh god. And then there's the premium battle pass, which is you get your free, and then you get your premium, but you get like 10 levels for free on the battle pass.
yeah.
So
I think
yeah,
Overwatch does that. I want to say that's what
yeah,
they did.
that's where I draw it from. Because I
So
was like, ugh.
battle pass is another like point to all of this, right? Because with the influx and over like inflation of just live service games out there, right? It's become common for there to be an influx of battle passes, as that's become the new hot trend.
Because you're not
Heck,
allowed to use loot boxes anymore.
I like battle passes are like even in some games that aren't technically live service games
Correct.
now,
Yeah.
which is strange.
Weird.
Yeah, but like that will in and of itself come to the point of what makes or breaks some live service games for me. Like it's like like you said a minute ago. Maybe I only have enough time to play one day this week, so I can spend all I want in that one day to make up for that time, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, all the time you've lost, yeah.
Right. But then that becomes the question to me is like, so am I actually like missing out on something because I can only play one day, or am I just delaying something?
Right.
The only time I would say you're truly missing out in your example, Matt, is if the battle pass is like one day from going away before the new battle pass comes along. But other than that,
So
not really.
so to what you're saying, yes. But to what I'm saying, no.
Right.
Because I'm not speaking strictly in terms of battle pass. I'm speaking in terms of the game overall.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So for like gotcha games in specifically,
Yep.
if I don't play, I'll use the one that I still play. If I don't play Genshin Impact every day, I like for instance, I have not logged in today.
Oh, he
I
will then.
am.
To be fair, you were busy today. Let's be real. If you weren't
I,
busy,
I have been very busy today. To be fair,
yes,
that's true.
exactly.
And in fact, once we're done here, I will be logging in.
There you
Yes,
go.
exactly.
But
But to your point,
if I don't log in every day, I am missing a certain daily amount of free prima gems or free gems
correct.
to use
Mhm.
on the gacha to summon, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
And I'm missing out on that. Also, if I like don't play for, you know, a week or two, I'm missing on a lot of that, but I'm also potentially missing out on character banners because I didn't play when those banners were up, so I don't ever get a chance to try and get those characters, and I now have to
FOMO.
wait. I have to wait who knows how long to get those characters.
Couple weeks in a reasonable game, a year or more in a MiHoYo game, because why not?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
And
should say
then-
Genshin, because Star Rail's been better about that. We're already getting reruns like 7 months into it.
It's true.
Oh,
Yeah,
holy
yeah.
shit.
Different
Maybe I should
thing about
join
that
back
I'll
into
talk to
Star
you
Rail.
later about.
Yeah, when is Blade coming out again?
He just came out.
She's out.
Oh, for fuck's
Yeah.
sakes.
Actually, he's still
Of
out.
course.
I think it's still up.
Oh, you're running out of
but-
time, though.
Yeah.
Oh, for
the
fuck's sakes.
that being said, in some games, so like, again, quickest example I can think of, Final Fantasy 14, MMO.
Sure. Oh, God.
Uh,
Don't miss days in that.
But here's the thing:
Not if-
if you do
not if you're a
miss
raider.
days, if you're a raider, that's a little bit of a different story.
Sorry, yeah, I should specify.
That is the smallest percentage of players, right?
100%.
So it's like, if I don't log in for weeks in 14, yes, I'm wasting time that I paid to play.
Yep,
Sure,
that's it.
but
Yeah,
that's a different thing
The
entirely.
grievous one.
Yeah, but I'm not anything that I could have done by playing. I can still do. I just
Yeah.
do it then. And realistically, I still have plenty of time to do it and still be caught up and still do, new things, etc. and so forth.
Because
Like-
odds are you won't have to worry about anything until the next major patch. Maybe if you're thinking about certain things, you won't have to worry about that until the next expansion.
Right. And then also, to use an example for the prior, that's not a gacha game, Diablo 4. Because Diablo 4 has its battle pass thing it's doing, and Diablo 4 has seasons. And those seasons have certain things unique about them that are only in those seasons. So if you didn't play during season 1, Season of the Malignant, you don't get to play with or interact with the whole Malignant Hearts and Caged Hearts thing. If you don't play during season 2, which I think just ended or is about to end, you don't get to play with the vampire powers or the blood powers or blood rituals, whatever they were called.
I hear they were really cool too.
They were all really cool. I played during both seasons, and I played much more during season.
I just didn't get into season 2. Been busy.
I played much more during season 2. Season 2 was way more fun.
Yeah,
Malignant Hearts were very cool. Malignant Hearts were very cool, but season 2 was way more fun. And those powers were dope. But that being said, I digress. I did miss out on many things that I cannot get now, from the battle pass, the cosmetics that were in it, to other things. I miss out on getting to play with those powers or whatever in that whole season. And realistically, they will rerun like a season's theme at some point. But who knows when that'll be, right?
Yeah,
So
they might not choose to do that until right before end of service.
They may not choose to do that until
after service, technically. They might just have like an auto rerun on that for a game like Diablo that they won't take down.
And it could also be like when the first like major DLC or expansion or whatever comes out, they repeat the cycle of seasons or something. Like we don't know yet. It's still a fairly new game that we're still learning, but so that's a game that is a good example of things you miss out on. And with battle passes as a whole, you end up either missing out on things and then they become things you have to buy later, right?
Yeah, almost always.
Like, in the long run, end up spending more money than if you had played and bought the battle pass. Or in some situations, you just miss out entirely because they don't ever come back. Because there are games.
There it is. There it is.
Well, hell, guys, I am going to quickly piggyback on Matthew's conversation.
Go on.
So you guys were talking about Diablo. I've been thinking, honestly, the best game that has done Battle Pass is Final Fantasy 14 with its PvP.
That's
one,
Pass?
it's
you don't have to pay for it or anything. Yeah, so
exactly, because you're paying a sub and all that. Not
is
only
it even
that,
a Battle Pass then?
Yes, it is technically.
Okay.
It's modeled like one.
Yeah,
I guess
but
you
it's
wouldn't really call it a battle pass. That's
I still
entirely
would.
what it's modeled after for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Not PvP.
that's fair. I don't blame you.
Has some really cool
so
glamours.
with
true.
yeah, this season or last season's glamour was fucking awesome. So whenever a season ends and the new season happens, you can still purchase the previous season's stuff before it officially goes away by having the current season be done and the next one happens. And then that one, the previous one goes away, right?
Wait,
Who
hold
knows
on,
if
hold
it
on, hold on. I need you to re-explain that
All
one
right,
for
so
me. I didn't follow.
so let's just hypothetically we're in season 5, right?
Sure.
And it just started. You can still use the PvP currency to buy season 4 stuff, and then when season 5 is over, season 4 gets pushed away and you can't purchase any more, but you can still purchase season 5 and now 6's stuff.
Okay, now this is where you've lost me. You've said battle pass, and now you said you can use currency to buy stuff.
So hold on. Let me explain the battle pass for you. That the battle pass like thing that they have.
Okay.
So it's a track, and whenever you get a level in the track, you get a currency that with levels on that track. There are also like glamour and some other rewards in there, but you get like a currency. You can use that
Okay.
currency to buy other glamours and things like that. To what Nat's saying is when like season 4 is going on, you can buy season 4 stuff because it's current stuff, and you can buy the last stuff using that currency. And then
Yep.
moving forward, when
In-game
season 5
currency.
comes out, you can buy 5 and now 4s. And so basically you're working a season behind is what it's.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. And it's all free because technically you've already paid the sub, so you don't need to
Right.
pay a premium battle pass for any of that shit. You just play PvP, you get the PvP currency, and then you can buy current and one season previous stuff.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
And the only
Yeah.
real fault that I have with that one in 14, I may not even have, and Nat can tell me tell me the answer to this if he knows, or one of our
Oh, I hope
listeners
so.
can let me know in the comments or on Twitter. Is what about when seasons are over and gone, like you're on season 10 and season 2 or 3? Any of the unique things there? Do they ever cycle those back? Or are they just gone?
Not entirely too sure on that because I think we're still technically somewhat early into the new PvP stuff. I think we're only in season 5, I want to say. I could
Okay,
be
so yeah,
wrong
we're not
about
deep
that.
enough to know the answer to that yet. But it hasn't. Nothing from the earlier battle passes has recycled yet. Then.
No, not that
Okay.
I know of. It may have, but
Yeah.
I have not been on 14's PvP for quite a bit. I've only done the PvE stuff.
Fair.
Yeah, because I remember season 1's having a really cool like glamour that I wanted for my Dark Knight.
Yeah, it's fucking
but-
awesome.
Yeah, but I could not bring myself to farm PvP at that point in time. So I'm like, I'll do it later. And I didn't really give that a whole lot of thought, obviously. And now it's
Yeah.
like, all right, now I can't get it. So is that ever coming back?
I'm hoping so because a lot of people should have it because it's fucking awesome.
And that's a question for a lot of things in live service games is you see something really cool, it goes away, whether it be on a battle pass or whatever else. And then you got to ask the question because you didn't get it or you missed it.
Are you
Is
ever
that
going
coming
to?
back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This doesn't make me. This kind of forces my hand into bringing up something I thought about, but I'm not educated really enough to know. So, the world has seemingly agreed that there is a good battle pass. I disagree, but I am but one man. That belongs to Fortnite because
Fork knife.
you buy it, you own that battle
Mhm.
pass. You can usually earn enough through that battle pass to buy the next one for free. Fine, excellent, good even.
Okay. Okay.
I know some games do this. I think Fortnite is one of them. Once you own that battle pass, you own that battle pass. You can complete it on your own time. It won't expire.
Yo, shit, really?
I don't know, but I know that there are
Yo.
games wherein if you buy the battle pass, it's yours.
Huh.
You do not have to finish it within that season. If when the new one comes out, you can select to work on this one instead. With the way everyone talks about Fortnite, I assume this is true of this one as well. Because, frankly, it's harder to find anyone being critical of this battle pass than not. Because apparently it's just the most forgiving one in the world.
Right. Well, I'm gonna be real. That actually does sound pretty cool in terms of everything about battle passes that we know of.
I agree with an asterisk.
Yeah, in terms of battle passes, if I'm gonna have one, that model sounds way better than any other I've seen.
It does.
Yes, exactly.
Because you get enough to buy the next one, which is cool. But I'll be honest with you, if I like a battle pass, I'll buy it. I'll buy the next one too. That's fine. I
Right.
don't mind if your game is free and your battle pass seems fair, and I want something in it. I'll buy it. I bought 2 Overwatch battle passes because I wanted my Junker Queen to be Zeus, and I wanted my Kiriko to be Amaterasu. I don't mind buying them. What I would like to know is, even if you're allowed to work on it during the next season, if you've bought it, does it have an expiration date? Because if the answer is no, and I can choose to work on that battle pass whenever the fuck I want, that is the only battle pass I'm in favor of.
Yeah, agreed.
If it has an expiration date that is just the next season over, it's better to be certain, but now I'm missing the next season's battle pass. Right. I'm choosing to work on this one instead. But if I'm allowed to hold it until there's a season that I don't really care for, and work on this one instead, that I'm here for.
Yeah,
that's a solid and understandable caveat that I have to agree with.
Yeah, so that's why I said I like this asterisk. If it's the you bought this, it's yours, I love it. If it's you've bought it, you have how long is
90 days?
You have 3 months.
Let's just say 90 days.
I'll be like, yeah, it's better, but
ultimately, I would just prefer no battle pass. Obviously, I think we all would.
Because my biggest issue with battle passes, is God forbid something happens to you.
Yeah,
I've paid $20 for this battle pass. I assume that's a battle pass price. I don't quite remember.
That's pretty average for everyone I've seen for the most part.
Oh no! I hurt myself. I can't play anymore. I've run out of time. I paid $20 to sit here hurt and be butthurt about it. Oh no! I just bought it and I thought I had this time off, but I now got called in to work this week and next week with virtually no breaks. Well, guess I'm missing. Guess I'm not getting my money's worth on this one. Oh no! I have a life emergency. I can't be here right now. $20. Now, granted, you're not worried about the battle pass then, but it is money that they siphon out of you. That you bought something.
And you didn't receive the product.
And this isn't a game. You're not buying a license. You're buying a product.
Lord forbid any gamer like a live service game and have a functioning social life, and 2, a family of some kind they have to take care of. Like, it's maddening to think about because you have your family to care for, you want to spend time with, but you also are missing out on the game you bought or wanted to play or whatever. It's like that's another reason this is unfair to the gamer, to the consumer, to the player, whatever. And then it comes back to are you really missing out by not playing, right? And that's my big issue with live service games. Am I missing out when I don't play? Yes. Okay, I have a problem here. Because it comes down to live service games demand your time. Like the cruelest slave driver. They demand your time. The majority
and money, frankly.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the money is optional. You don't have to give that, but you're right. You do have to give the time regardless.
Yeah, and it's just like, Lord forbid, the examples I already named, let alone, some other AAA single player game you wants to come out, you want to play comes out. Because I want to play it. I really do. I have it sitting on my shelf, but I don't have time because insert live service game here wants me to do this all the time, wants me to do that or whatever. And then it gets even worse if you play more than one, live service game, right?
Right.
That's why one reason why I want to cut back on all the gacha games, and I have cut back on all the gacha games because let's be real, they are the world's worst and cruelest about demanding your
Yeah,
time.
100%.
Yeah, they're quite literally soul sucking.
Yeah, and though the live service games I have come to really stick with, and that I plan to stick with for the most part, are the ones that are very forgiving, and I'm not really missing out on much. Final Fantasy 14, not missing out on
Yeah.
much when I don't play it, obviously. Warframe, anything that I can do when it's added or comes out in Warframe, I can do later. It's fine. The game's there, so like,
WoW Classic.
yeah. I mean, for the most part, any MMO falls into that category.
I
for the
think
most part.
so.
Now, 14 does have a slight issue with some of its expansion-based things they do. Don't get player activity or whatever, like Eureka, the Vaja battlefields or whatever. That's not.
I feel that has actually been... So I feel that that's actually been rectified. It would be a problem if data center transfer wasn't a thing anymore. Now, granted, this requires legwork of the player, because you now have to go find out where these expansion-based activities are being done the most. But you never have to go into a
Right.
dead world again if you don't want to. It just
True.
requires a lot of snooping around.
True, yeah, and just like with the non-Eureka expansion-based things like that, like with dungeons and stuff, and raids or whatever, at any point in time, you can get your friends to just come do it with you, and then that'll leave.
Oh yeah, obviously.
So
fair.
So I mean that's an option. But I
Very
mean that
fair.
is in and of itself a unique thing to games that are multiplayer. A lot of gacha games don't have multiplayer in that sense. So, and then other live service games don't have something in that sense as well. So you miss out, right? Because some live service games don't have the data center travel to find.
Yes, true.
that.
Absolutely true. If you zone in on a dead world, you're screwed. Like 11 is a perfect example. We've had to move from... Was it... Were we on Bismarck? Or were we on...
We were on Bismarck to Austria to... I think something else. Now we're back on Bismarck. I lost track after the second or third time.
To your point, yeah, here we are.
It's painful, right? Especially, like I'm not a content creator, right? Like that's not how I make money. But like I can only imagine what position I would be if I were, because it's like, man, I want to play these games, but I have live service games I play, and it's just like, where are you gonna, like, even you as somebody who's like a content creator who has a lot more time to play games than other people realistically, right? Because you play those games for a living.
Yeah.
Even they a lot of times don't have enough time to play all the games they want to play. Like I've seen more than one that come back to play a game a year or two after the games come out, because they're just not finally getting time. Like somebody, can't remember who right now. I remember just recently played through Elden Ring because I didn't have time because of live service games and things like that drained so much of their time when it came out. So they just now finally finished up some games and had enough time to play. So
right, yeah,
it's just that time investment that live service games innately are going to ask of you is so brutal.
yeah.
And I don't
Exactly
know,
right.
Am I looking at this from a weird perspective as an adult that plays, like, because obviously because teenagers, kids, whatever, they're gonna have more time to play theoretically, because like what the only like obligation they have is school, right? So
Right. So they have more free time to play.
They have more free time or something, right? Right?
Well,
like I'm not looking at it in a weird way. Or is that...
Don't forget Roblox.
Oh god. There is that. I think there's also the way of looking at it that ends up being, don't play all of these games. You have to be choosy.
Yeah.
Which sucks, right? Because I've played at least 16 Final Fantasy games. I'm not going to bother trying to count all the spin-offs. Played all of them.
Right.
But I have trouble balancing which of these live services I'm ever going to play. Like if I'm playing Diablo 4, I'm probably not also playing Final Fantasy, and I'm probably also not playing we'll say Fortnite. I don't play it, but if I was going to, like, because I'd be wanting to grind out the content. And
Yeah.
for me specifically, it'd be because I always treat Final Fantasy like a job. I want to be current. So like I was a raider for a long time, so I guess that's what that was.
It's fair.
Like it just comes down to, I mean, you put your social life before the games, right? So you
Right.
give up, you recognize you don't play these games, you go out, you ball is life, you exercise, you I don't know, do normal, healthy social things.
Yeah, like I said, Lord forbid, you have an
Yeah.
active social life or anything like that.
But these games never aimed at people like that. These games are aimed at people who are either terminally online or this online is where they do their socializing. So
Yeah.
So
it's really not a problem for a
Because
lot of
Final
these
Fantasy
people.
14 players.
I'm trying to be nice.
I'm never nice to 14 players. They fucking deserve it.
We
he
do.
says as
deserve
a
it.
14 player.
Yeah, we all do deserve it.
Ugh.
So yeah, they don't ever really have to worry about this because anyone with a social life will pick themselves up and go out and say, you know what, fuck this game. It doesn't. I can't do anything about this. Screw it. I'm done with this until the next time I feel like playing it. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna hoop up. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna go to a couple parties, kick back, and I'll worry about you later. For people who are more online, end up treating they end up treating it like a job.
I wouldn't even say like a job. I would say it really depends. I'm obviously coming back to 14, but like people just log onto 14 to talk and socialize and AFK. They don't really like play the game like
Well,
the way
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like intended, as in going dungeons and blah 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 and all that shit, right? But like there's a huge social aspect to particularly 14. As for other games, I don't really know despite playing them. But like
I don't know that I was going to use 14 as an example for this. The example for this one was going to be all the ones that are like super predatory. It's going to come down to essentially being the gotcha. Like these are the ones where you'll miss something if you don't log in. We've already established 14 is pretty good because if you don't log in and you're not a hardcore raider, then you don't need to have your daily and weekly limit of tomestones filled.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if you miss a day. Whatever.
Primo gems, fuck it. They're all cool.
But like Matt said, if he's playing, let's say Matthew is the most hyper addictive person. He's playing Genshin.
I mean,
he's playing Star Rail.
Oi.
He's playing Arknights.
What?
He's playing Counterside. He's playing Opera Omnia. I know he can't. He's playing like two
right
other
now or 3 years
games.
ago.
Shut up. He's playing all of these games at the same time. It means he does have to, at very least, log into 7 different games.
Yeah, which is disgusting.
That's a job. It's a crap job, but that's a job.
Yeah, like even if those daily cycles, for some games, only take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. Still,
some that are an hour long.
Yeah, some of that are like an hour long.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It adds up.
Yeah, and let's say Matt's a normal person. He has his family. He has a significant other. He has a job. He's going to look at these 7 games and go, okay, fuck that. I want to go out. I want to have a decent time with my family. I want to make sure I can spend time with them because their time is limited. Games are forever.
Yeah.
He does all that. He's not going to do seven gotchas. He's going to cut them back to a reasonable amount.
Yeah. I'm going to say, as you said, like Matt being a normie.
Also, I'm sorry, Matt. I didn't mean to use you as these examples.
No. Use me as an example. That's fine. That's what I'm here for. Don't worry.
So he has a wife and 2 children, right? And he works at a 24-hour job.
Sure.
24-hour job. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
so
Wow, he'll be dead inside of a
Yes.
week.
if he was originally playing 7 games and then he got his life together, he probably cut down to 1 game, and that 1 game is going to be the game his wife is playing, or his probably not his children. I wouldn't subject your children to gacha games, but definitely your wife. If she's playing a gacha game, you're probably going to play with her as well, and
But this
that'll
is
be
the point.
the 1 game.
You've gotten to
Yeah, no.
the ideal. These are supposed to be, according to like what every dev says about their grand multi-year plans. These are forever games.
Yeah.
You can't play
Yeah.
a bunch of forever games. There's not
Yeah,
enough
they're
time.
forever
in the day.
games until we say so.
Yes.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Not even. This isn't even EOS. What I mean is, in a game that requires all of your time, that requires
okay,
actual investment.
Yeah.
You can't play a
okay.
bunch of them. You only have so much time in the day. So it makes sense that you would choose one. Like, I hate to say, fuck. There is a type of game that should be a live service that isn't. And it's the only one I can think of. Sports games should be live services.
Oh no. Okay, you've lost me.
No, they should be. You
turning
should
my
pay.
brain
You
off
should pay
now.
for them once, and the only thing that updates year on year is the roster.
Yeah, FIFA.
I mean,
Looking at
realistically,
you.
yeah, you're right. That's probably they really should be. It would
They should be. This is how this should work. So
somehow they make
This
more
was-
money doing it the way they do it, though.
oh my god, they're like
Ugh.
they're the most profitable games outside of Call of Duty, and sometimes they beat it.
It's so gross.
But so yeah, these are the games that people pour a bunch of time into, right? This is their forever
Right.
game. I play Madden. I play FIFA. Hell, I play Call of Duty. This is the only game I'm playing.
MBK.
I get to spend all of my time in this. Maybe I branch off and I play an Elden Ring, and like that's done in 40 hours because I'm not doing everything in that game. That's not my game. This is my game.
I was say, hold on, let's clarify because this hasn't actually been clarified. I don't think that just because a game has multiplayer doesn't mean it's a live service game.
Correct.
Because while Call of Duty Warzone might be considered a live service game, your standard Call of Duty game, or
Is
to use a different game, Battlefield, is not a live service
fucking
game.
swore.
That is just a game with
Yeah.
multiplayer. So
Yeah. All the progression is done in game, and it doesn't require mommy's fucking credit card.
I mean, necessarily speaking,
yeah.
that not even every live service game does that because 14 doesn't. Do
Yeah.
that. But that game, while it may get updates, they're in the form of DLC, things you buy or
Mhm.
whatever, and they're not, continuations of the game. It's just, I guess, how would you put it? Like just variety to the game, maybe. I don't know
Yeah,
how
it gives
I'll
you
word that.
options therein.
Yeah. So
Right.
there is a difference there, to be fair, and we are specifically talking about live service and not multiplayer. But as to what you were saying, no.
Yeah, so like Final Fantasy 14 and WoW are excellent for like my forever game idea, right? These are games where
Right.
there are some people who do not play video games, but they
What the
play
fuck?
WoW. But they
True.
but they play Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
MMOs are a different breed.
Yeah.
This is my
But
point.
he's
But,
definitely
yes.
right, because I know people like that. So
Yeah. So
Right.
like there's a difference between like games where you can give your everything to, but that's the only game you play. There's no healthy person playing 10 games at a single moment. Even if it's their job, they're not doing that because the way you will burn out is insane. Forget money in this instance, which is if you're playing 10 of these live services, I'm so sorry. But just in terms of like your battery as a person, playing that many of these games at once will fucking kill you. You will get so stressed out while trying to do something that you're supposed to enjoy. They've turned it into
Yeah.
work.
yes,
Yeah.
and that
It's
is
gross.
definitely
It's
a problem
disgusting.
I've had with live service games. Is like it's so stressful sometimes when you have more than one that you play because you're like, oh man, I'm missing out on stuff. Oh man, I'm not getting so and so done. Like at the peak of my
Oh
play,
man,
was that not?
it's I was gonna say, oh man, it's like 23 minutes full daily reset, and I've still got like 2 more other games to fucking do the dailies.
Yeah, for gotchas, it's like
Yeah,
gotchas. Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been in that boat before. But like I think at my peak of like playing Diablo when it in season 1 rather, not my peak of playtime, but at least my peak in season 1. I was at this point where I was like, man, I want to do this. I want to level and play in this season, and I'm gonna miss out
Hmm.
if I don't. But the game I actually want to play is 14 right now. But
Right.
it was like so much stress because it's like, man, I really want to do this, but I'm gonna miss out if I don't, and I go play 14 because that's what I want to play. Ultimately,
Yeah.
I just chose 14 because I'm like, just
Be social.
I'd rather be
Yeah.
social. I'd rather just not worry with the stress and just be like, if
Yeah.
y'all are gonna make me miss out on stuff, then that's just bad. That's just bad on y'all. You know what? I'm not gonna fret over it. And that's ultimately how I've chosen live service games for the most part. Is do I miss out on things by not playing it? No, or yes, but asterisk, like you don't really miss out. It's just you're not getting you're not getting it as soon. It's going to take you longer, whatever. And if that's the answer, if it's that or no, you're not missing out. I'll play the game, even if I play it once, every other month or two or whatever, and just make some progression there. And I'll
Right.
keep it to the list of live service games I play. But if you're gonna make me miss out on stuff, and this is part of why I'm cutting back on all the gotchas, and then you're gonna stress me out or soak up all my time so I can't play the single player games that are really fun, like the Kiseki
Right.
series that I'm working through, or God of
Mhm.
War, or whatever.
Yep.
Then I'm just gonna say no because you're just being predatory. Because I feel like
Yeah.
that's ultimately what a lot of these live service games end up being is predatory.
That's what it is.
It's yeah, it's but I mean, you have all these, and that's what companies are saying, right? They're saying this is the future, this is gaming, this is what
Mhm.
people want is these predatory live service games that are all competing for your time.
Oh, I love it when they just come out and say it. I don't think it's this CEO, but the previous CEO of Square Enix literally said the future. We would like the future to be pay to or play to earn. I'm like, nah, no.
This
No,
previous
you
one that
can't,
said that, yeah.
come on, my guy, you can't say that out loud. Like I know all executives have to like think this, but you can't say that out loud. No one wants to hear it.
I'm almost
None of
certain
your
it's the previous
consumers
one,
want to
yeah.
hear it. I
Yeah.
also think it was the previous one. So, but we do know that this is the thinking because they slip up all the time. They'll say this,
Yeah.
but they have to
Yeah.
go
Just
to the GDC, the Game Developers conferences, and we see what is on display there. That's purpose built to win our money, and not always in a very fun or moral way.
Right.
mhm.
So, like, they can't hide it. We know. Well, we know if we're looking for it, and I guess to be fair, everyone doesn't look for this. It just takes some of us to be fucking boring enough to follow games journalism, I guess. Yes.
Um so it's like 10 years ago, you'd have two games of the same genre come out, so two RPGs come out, and they are going to be competing for your attention. They're going to be competing for your money. But
100%.
Right.
that's not necessarily to see which gets your money because ultimately they might both get
They
your money.
both probably will, just not at the same
Yeah,
time.
just not at the same time. It's just a matter of when
Yeah.
they get it. But now it's a competition of who gets your money.
And
Period. Yeah,
time
and
and
time
attention and yeah.
because it's like you get our game, you play our game. But I'm like, okay, so but that means I can't play this new game that's coming out, and then this new game that's coming out. And then it's like all of this is made so much worse by the fact there's still more live service games coming out.
Yeah, I can pretty much TLDR, I can boil down to just a few words. Fear of missing out or FOMO.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
FOMO's
is
the
like
driver.
it
yep,
is.
that is the biggest factor of live service or just gotcha. What would you say?
Well, no,
Uh,
that's just marketing in general.
that's
Yeah, true.
Everything is
Yeah,
sold
yeah.
under the auspices of fear of missing out. Sorry, everything new. Like you're not there's no fear of missing out on eggs, but
I mean, unless they go off, but
My parents have
that's just
chickens. I'm not worried
noise.
about it. It's there's a fear when I look at upcoming games and new games that I'm excited for, and an anxiety now because
Yeah,
I look at
100%.
them because I'm like, oh, game A, B, and C are live service games. Am I going to be able to actually play them and balance them with the other live service games I really like, or am I going to have to give up a game that I really like and enjoy? Because
Mhm.
that's the question most people end up having to ask, and that's
I think the simple answer is just to simply, if you're interested and it's like free to play, or it's like, I say cheap, but like if it is cheap, um, I would say take the leap, play the new thing, see if you like it, and if not, come back to your forever game or another game that you previously purchased and played and want to finish off. I think the best way is just simply give the new games like a month, generally a month, like play time, not play time, but like a month of like playing it and see how you feel about it, and then make a decision, or obviously less. I think that's the, I don't know if I want to say smarter or healthier way of doing things,
Well,
especially in
no, because the healthiest
today's.
way would be to avoid live services.
Yes, exactly. But like as we have stated, live service is fucking oversaturated. There's live service aspects in like,
oversaturated is the term I've been trying to think of all night, and I have not been able to think of.
but like yeah, like it's like there's aspects of it in like not every game, but majority of games. So you can't really get away from. I mean, you technically can by playing older games, but like if you want to play games with your favorite streamer or your friends, you're gonna have to play the live service game. So yeah, I'd just say give it the trial period, see if you like it, continue. If not, then go back to other games. I think it's just that simple.
Ultimately, yeah, it probably is that simple. Uh, but I'm sure there are people out there like me that overthink it. Like,
I would not I would not try and overthink this. I would just be like, if you're good, you're good. If you're not, you're not. Just it's just that simple.
I mean, like, perfect example. First Descendant comes out this summer, and I'm
Yeah.
looking at it like, man, that game looks so fun. But I can't help
Yeah.
but have this apprehension of like, oh man, this is like basically the same genre as Warframe. Am I gonna have to give up
Yeah.
Warframe to play this game?
Nah.
But
Honestly.
ultimately, no, I don't have to. I play one when I want to play it, play the other when I want to play it, because there are going to be
Just,
Exactly.
very different
Exactly.
style games.
And that's also another thing. It's also being in the mood to play that game or that genre of games, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because one moment you're like, man, I want to play Final Fantasy 14. You play 14 for a month, you did your thing, and then you're like, man, I really want to play Warframe. You go switch over to Warframe. It's just
Yeah.
it's
Something-
just
I mean,
that simple, really.
Yeah. Sometimes it is just that simple. Do you want to play a shooter? Do you want to play an RPG? Do you want to play
Yeah, exactly.
an action
Right.
game or whatever? So yeah, it does come down to that as well.
Mm. But as Dollar has said, as soon as the games start making you feel like you're actually doing work rather than enjoying your time playing the game, that's when things get all fucky and whatnot.
Yeah, like once ultimately, don't overthink it, right? But
Mhm.
some people have, like myself, have issues with that, and
Yeah,
and it doesn't help because of the oversaturation. And then in some games, it doesn't help because of the monetization that's involved with it. And in some games,
yeah,
it doesn't help because of FOMO. And some games, it's because of you are actually missing things if you don't play. So,
yeah, exactly right.
but hey, maybe that's just us overthinking or overanalyzing it. All you listeners, you let us know. You let us know over on Twitter at Celestia Radio PD. Tweet at us with the hashtag AskCRP, giving us your thoughts, having questions, maybe another topic idea. Leave it there with that, or down in the description of the YouTube video. And yeah, give us your thoughts, give us your feedback, chat with us. What do you think about live service? What do you think about the oversaturation of live service? What do you think of all of this? But that is, that's live service. Let us know your thoughts. Maybe we're overthinking it. You'll tell us, I'm sure. But we will see you all in the next one, guys. Peace.
Catch
Be
you
good
later.
now.